All right, let me just share this link real quick. Oh, all right. And then, yeah, feel free if you want to share it. It's up on my profile, but I'm just going to share it once more from the Polyfactual account.
It's amazing.
All right. Larry, welcome to the program, and thanks for joining. Yeah, it's good to have you on, because I've been following your project. I remember when you guys first made the announcement. Man, I forget. It was a few months ago when you first when I kind of first discovered you on X. But I was super interested in Predexon because at the time I was really interested in arbitrage, and I thought that your platform was doing like a really good job in figuring that out, making it really easy for people, especially since you're kind of cross prediction market. You have this unified API, so I was really excited about that. I'm glad that you agreed to come on. And yeah, I guess maybe we could start with intros. Just maybe tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're working on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, John, for this opportunity to be hosting on this show. Yeah, we launched Predexon. I think that was the open router vision you were talking about when we sort of just match market, find arbitrage opportunities. But yeah, right now Predexon is building. We are building the infrastructure layer for prediction market, and that means turning every single prediction market platforms that are major for now is Polymarket, Calcient, and hopefully Opinion very soon into a single programmable interface and making it easy for builders, traders, and in the eventual institutions to build on prediction markets. And that's what we're doing here.
And how long have you guys been at this? Like when did you kind of first start on this project? Is it fairly new, or is it an older project?
It's definitely a fairly new project. So our team's background wasn't really in crypto. We got into crypto because of prediction market, and we had this idea of Predexon. I would say maybe around November or December, maybe in between that period of time, and then we sort of just started building from there. We set off eventually. We started building a prediction market terminal, and then we realized there's actually a lot of infrastructure that is missing. The APIs, native APIs, and data service aren't really friendly to work with. So we decided to build something ourselves and serve it to the public, and that's what Predexon came to.
And is this kind of like, so is this so what's a little background about you, like in terms of you as a builder? Like you mentioned that you didn't come from the crypto world, per se. But I'm curious, like, how long, like, is this kind of like your first company, or is this, or like, as a founder, what has your journey been so far?
Yeah, so I'm actually pretty young. Me and my team, we all just graduated from UC Berkeley, and we met in Berkeley. We're college roommates, and before our experiences, some of us. So personally, I built startups before. I built ed tech startups, and same with one of my co-founder. We all sort of we've all been doing projects. We all study CS or X, and we've been doing projects here and there throughout college, trying to start something. And I would say this is our first venture-backed company. So I would say that's the most. I'll call it my first company, but it's not really my first company since I've worked on some sort of smaller edtech startups before. And in terms of background, we've pretty much just been building throughout college. We worked internships at FANG startups. I actually rejected many full-time offers to just work on Predexon. I think it's super exciting. Yeah, after college.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, do you find that like right now, you know, for people who are like at like in the entrepreneurship world, I feel like prediction markets are still nascent, but I could be wrong on that. Like, I'm wondering, like in your experience, some of the communities you've been in, is it a popular topic right now, or is it still like, are we still in early days?
Oh yeah, I mean, just purely from experience in Berkeley, I feel like prediction market, it has been a thing that's really taking off. You can see that it's picking up traction, maybe exponentially, but just in the Bay Area, everybody is still very AI centered. I think prediction market is to some extent a little underwhelming compared to undervalued compared to AI, where it's like the peak of it. If you go to SF, you see AI here. Every single ad is about AI. Everybody is building AI startup in Berkeley. Whereas there's not as many people working on prediction market, which I think is equally, if not more, of exciting opportunity as AI. So I think this is a field that's definitely picking up a lot of traction, but still sort of underlooked, in my opinion.
And yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I have been listening to people more and more, and they say like, okay, along with AI, they think that this is the year for prediction markets, that it's just going to keep growing and growing and scaling. But I think AI still has that. It's still capturing a lot of the hype. But it ties into prediction markets so well. That's the other thing, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I've been seeing posts about people creating, AI agents for prediction markets, and I know you guys are kind of tied into that a little bit. But there's a lot of kind of interesting things about the future of prediction markets and AI agents,
Yeah.
which which I think we'll talk a little bit about later. But you guys mentioned, or you mentioned also that you're venture backed. And I know you're backed by Alliance, I'm pretty sure. I think it says it right there. Um,
Correct.
and so in terms of that journey, like how did you get involved with Alliance? How was that kind of connection made?
Yeah, I mean, Alliance is really it's a big name, right? If you sort of look into crypto accelerators, Alliance probably one of the best, if not the best. So fundamentally, when we decided to build this project, we've applied to like YC before. We've always been on the startup grind, and but since we are very excited about prediction markets, we all like sports gamble a little bit, so we're really passionate about this space. We think it's more fun than building AI B2B SaaS startup. We started just looking into um, accelerators in the crypto space, since prediction market fundamentally is crypto. Maybe not Cauchy, but it started. Polymarket is on chain. Opinion, even Hyperliquid. So Alliance was naturally the choice for us. Just applying to it because they felt like the right pick, and they have the right network resources to help us grow in the prediction market area, and certainly more knowledge and network than YC or any other accelerators that are not crypto.
Yeah, I mean, not even to bash YC, but like I do feel like sometimes projects that are not, as you said, B2B SaaS are kind of overlooked a lot.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it is refreshing to find that there are some accelerators that are prioritizing other things, speculation, whether that's, consumer facing platforms like, but, yeah, and from what I understand from Predexon, do you guys have a front end, like a dedicated front end, or are you all kind of, is it all via API? You know what, I guess this might be a good time to like maybe introduce Predixon and what maybe dive deep into some of the stuff that you're building.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We don't have a front end. Just to answer that first question, we started building a prediction market terminal, and then we realized there's a lot of infrastructures missing. So we're just basically dedicating building infra behind it, and we do not want to compete with our customers, who actually a lot of them are building front ends. So we focus on infra and backend layer. We do all the dirty work for our clients. We index all the data. We route trades. We do all the dirty work, and we power a lot of front ends. In terms of what we actually do, there's actually many things. Should I show a demo, or should I just maybe explain words first?
Yeah.
Maybe we
If
can
you
look at
want to
demo
share
later.
yeah, that's totally fine, Larry. If you want to share your screen
Yeah,
and kind of get into a demo,
yeah.
cool.
I can give it a quick demo. Let me see. Yeah, I'll just share my screen. Can you guys see it, or?
Yes.
Yeah, so fundamentally, we do many things across many different platforms. So currently, we support Polymarket and Kalshi. For Polymarket, we built our own custom indexer, and we index a lot of data. We index all Polymarket's contract, and we store those data and do cool things with it and serve APIs. So that includes many things. So here, for example, we have this leaderboard API where we basically index all of the wallets on Polymarket, and we give it custom metrics according to everything, and we put into leaderboard, allowing you to sort by multiple things like total PNL, realized PNL, volume, in this case, and you can see that there are rankings, and there's many filters where you can pretty much find wallets that are doing well, that are doing poorly, and find good wallets to analyze and copy trade. And this could be of interest to many people, individual traders, builders, or even we have received interest from academia just in researching the activity of wallets on prediction market, and they're really interested in this. And for individual wallets, for example, we can just click into any of these wallets here, and all of these demos is actually powered by API, so you can see exactly the API endpoints that we use here. For each individual wallets, we have rolling data, all-time data for all the metrics about it. We have charts for realized PNL, and then we have some cool things like the volume chart. Oh, this one might not have any volume recently, but we can just pick a random one. And yeah, you can see the volume charts where we show buy and sell volume based on days, based on weekly. You can see all the wallets positions, whether open or close, and how they do on those positions. You can see its past trades. You can see its past activities. We analyze the markets that this wallet trades on and how it do on these markets, and we find similar wallets who trades on the similar markets. And you can click into them. You can see their comparative stats and see how they do. So this is pretty much a complete suite of wallet discovery, analysis, and all these data we surface on chain, and we do a lot of analysis and very complicated database operations on them to surface these smart metrics. Here's another cool endpoints that we made is smart money. So if you want to just define, I think wallet that made at least 5,000 trades and have at least 10,000 total PNL is defined as smart money. I can figure out, what are the market that these wallet trades on the most. And you can see here, it turns out to be the Trump market in this case. And it shows where the smart money activity is, basically. We have some more cool things, like we label our own cohorts, based on stats, whale, market maker, active trader, and you can see the performance here. In terms of market, it's also something pretty cool for Polymarket. So maybe we can just search up the Trump market as an example. This is all powered by our market endpoints. You can see that we have many cool charts for it. This is a volume chart based on buy and sell volume. We have volume time series for the yes token, for the no token. We have candlesticks, which are all which is just candlestick data. It's really good for professional trading view displays. A lot of terminals use this. Open interest chart, and we analyze smart money positioning, and we show the top holders for these markets for both yes and no. So these are just basically a peek into what we do. We have a ton of endpoints. We own all the data, so we can actually make any endpoints we want based on the data. A lot of traders like to backtest our historical data, such as historical trades and historical order books. We can have order book history, where it's really useful for backtesting for some people. And another cool thing we do is actually market matching, where you can pretty much just find we match markets. We have labeled ourselves with some unpaid interns a lot of data, and we run evaluation and benchmark on them. And our market matching is actually able to achieve 95% recall and 99% accuracy. And you can see we match a ton of market. We give each of them a similarity score, and you can query them based on the volume, the price, and even the end date. And the last thing is probably, I would say, WebSockets. So our live WebSocket is super fast, super low latency. We operate our own Polygon node for that, and it's able to achieve pretty much faster than any providers out there, including major RPC node provider like Alchemy. We are about 200 to 500 milliseconds faster than that. Yeah. And we surface trades, activities, and market life cycles. So market creation, redeem, merge, split, and obviously the trades for copy trading.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the questions I have a bunch of questions, but let's start with the market creation stuff. Does anyone else do that right now? Like, is anyone else working on, like, because I haven't seen a good tracker for market creation. That's a very interesting one. There's a lot of obscurity on how markets are actually created on Polymarket. So tools that help you to understand like the thought process behind markets, who's creating the market, how, like, when is the market created? I do think that that's very interesting.
Yeah. So this is just part of our WebSocket service where we have a channel where you just listen directly to when market creates and resolves. I believe currently all markets are created by Polymarket themselves. So it's usually from one of their wallet addresses or their addresses. And we pretty much just index, we listen to all the Polymarket contracts on chain that are relevant, and we surface those events ASAP when they come up with the lifecycle panel.
Yeah, that's a very good feature. I mean, I like that feature a lot. And Polymarket, correct me if I'm wrong, but Polymarket like has curators, right? Where they'll like select people and like, because I see betting markets for like the All In podcast, for instance, and I'm like, I know someone from All In is probably setting that market up. I mean, it's a good market. I do watch that podcast, but I have a feeling that like what's his name, Jason Calcanis or something like that, is probably creating that market. But it's like, how do you become, and this kind of goes on a tangent a little bit. Do you know how you become a Polymarket curator? Like, is that a job you have to apply for, or?
I'm genuinely not sure. I know that in their Discord channel, they have like a channel for market creation. But there's got to be a way, right? Because there's so many markets, so many tangents they want to go on. And I assume there could be some sort of formal process, but I need to look into it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because there's so much obscurity about this, which is why I think this is such a good feature. There's just anything that gives us some hint as to when markets are, because that does matter. So the other thing I'm very interested in too is you mentioned academia. I think you mentioned like academia was contacting you about some of this stuff. What
they were,
What is their interest? Like, what specifically have you found that they're interested in when it comes to this stuff?
Yeah, so we pretty much own all the data for Polymarket and as well Kalshi through their WebSocket. But I think academia really, well, at least the couple ones I talked to, they're interested in just studying prediction market in general as sort of the economic behavior of it. So what are the behavior of traders when they trade on prediction markets? I think that's something they're definitely looking into. And our historical trades data, markets data, and for definitely the wallet data, they're super, super excited for, because it saved them a ton of time where they have to go on chain and look at the data themselves. And it's so hard to aggregate. Whereas we just provide them as API and they can just directly pull the data and analyze and find some, do some cool researches with it, maybe compare it to like traditional finance platforms like stock exchange and see the difference in behavior. Is it more like gambling? Is it more like trading? Things like that. I assume there's many cool things that can be done with prediction markets. They're so new, and it's such a cool economic vehicle that's not even close to its true potential. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I fully agree with that, and I just think it's interesting how your platform's able to surface some of that data. That's obviously it's valuable to people outside of academia too.
Definitely.
And I'm curious, like, what have you seen? Like, you have the leaderboard. What have you seen are the top strategies? Like, do you like are you able to share anything right now on like some of the observations you've personally observed with this data that you're accumulating?
Yeah, I mean, something we see. I wouldn't say there's any like specific strategies I would, I guess, recommend people or do anything about it. But um,
Yes.
I would say the most profitable traders from what we're looking at are their buy range is usually around like zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.4, something like that, on top of my head. Um, there's also just cohorts of traders that we sort of label, and it seems like all the whales tend to do pretty well, probably because of insider information or just the fact that they have so much money to move around the market, since a lot of markets are liquid on Poly market. Um, yeah, I think that's the two biggest observations. I'm not too sure if there's any like specific strategies that tend to work out. I think it works out for there's many strategies that work out for like different people. For market makers and active traders, obviously they make money by market making and taking the differences. For whales, they're usually they just bet a lot and they win a lot, and somehow they're right, probably due to insider or due to the movement it brings. Um, in terms of like just buy and hold or um, yeah, I would say there's many strategies to make money on prediction market, and it's definitely could be new strategies being discovered every day. Um, Especially that it's not very regulated on poly market.
Yeah.
I think yeah. So yeah, I
Um,
would say this. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's I mean, from what you're saying, it sounds like overall the most profitable people seem to be high money or high volume, which makes sense. Entering
yep,
at, I think you said lower positions, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
which also makes sense. I mean, like I think one of the things that I've observed on Polymarket just by looking at like the Polymarket dashboard is that the top traders on Polymarket seem to be the guys with the fewest trades,
yeah.
which could indicate insiders. I don't know, but have you found that to be true with the data that you're surfacing? Because that's like just
Um,
cursory. I go on Polymarket, I'm like, this guy has like two trades. And he's like a top trader on Polymarket, and then you go down the list, and then obviously you have your category experts, but a lot of times
yeah.
it's like, wow,
We can actually look at it right now. I mean, I know that honestly, the top traders on Poly market, I think a lot of them are from the Trump, like the election, 2024 elections. They won big on Trump. That's what happened. Like this wallet,
interesting.
um, all his trades is like Kamala Harris, Trump. It's all the election. This is the wallet that has the most profit on Poly market ever. If you go down a little bit, maybe look at some random ones. If you just look at their positions with trades, this is Trump. Seems like it does a lot of politics. So yeah, it could be insider, but we don't know, right? Um, if you just look at random one, you can just literally click into any of these. Just even through our demo, like this is powered by our API, and it's not even like the full power of it, but just purely on demo, you can already see a lot of insights into what type of positions holding, what type of trades it's making for each wallet that you find interested in. This one seems to be focused on sports, for example. Yeah, and you can see its trajectory, its activities, its volumes. This one's purely buy. It's buy and hold. It doesn't even sell if you look at it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting. So it
yeah.
seems like most profitable categories are like politics on Polymarket, or at least that's one of them.
Politics. Yeah, yeah, and we also see a lot of sports and just crypto up and downs that happen. But politics seems to be dominant in the top traders.
Yeah, that's the new one is the crypto up and down markets. That's
Yeah,
going to be insane. I mean, that's Polymarket's edge, in my opinion. Polymarket's edge is these up and down markets because they're addictive. I mean,
they
they're
are addicted. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I was doing them the other day, and I was doing like the 5 minute markets.
I
I
know
couldn't
those
stop. I
five
loved
minutes are crazy.
it. Yeah, I won about 50% of the time. So like 50% of
Yeah.
the time I won. I did lose more than I won,
Uh-huh.
like in terms of just dollar value. But
Yep.
yeah, it was like a 50-50 shot. I do. I'm. Is there an edge that you can get in that? I mean, you know, I don't know how, with Predexon, I mean, one of the things you're doing is agents, and I don't, you might not know this specifically because you're not building an agent per se, although you do have some agents, some infrastructure.
Yeah, we
But
have
like
MCP and everything.
uh, your general take, like, do you think that bots are going to do well in these 5 minute mark? Like, do you think you can really get an edge with some of this agent stuff that they're talking about on Twitter with the 5 minute markets, 15 markets, or do you think it's a
I
part of
don't
the?
know. I mean, my personal take is that if there's anything people are posting on X about, it's probably not real alpha, right? If they have real alpha, they will keep it to themselves. So I wouldn't trust most of the strategies I just see on X or Twitter that's like very public available. People talking about how I just like vibe code this like 15-minute up and down bots and following this specific strategy and it works super well. That's it all sounds like pretty good on paper, but when you actually practice it, there's definitely flaws with it, and you might just end up losing money. I feel like when trading, doing this bots, there's 100% an edge. There's many people market making this market. There's many people with profitable strategies trading these. If you look at some wallets, they trade like these 15-minute, 5 minute. I'm not sure about 5 minute, 15-minute up and down markets, and they're actually profitable. They win on a lot of them, and there's got to be some strategies involved, right? But I don't think they're not easy strategies, and they're not something that people post on Twitter about for sure. Latency definitely matters a lot in terms of execution, in terms of data, and some crazy whales could I'm sure you've heard of this, but like this whale just like manipulate the price of XRP or something. I just like basically yeah, just killed all the bots and took them down. There's many crazy things that could be done, and I don't think real alpha is on Twitter or on X. I think real alpha comes from like people with them, and they won't let anybody else know about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do a show tomorrow with Kyle, the writer, who's gonna talk about. He told me. I mean, here's a little sneak peek for the show, but he told me he's gonna
Yeah,
debunk some of the Claude bot stuff that's been going around on X. So
100%.
hopefully we'll get some. We'll get some clarity on this.
Yeah.
My general take is like, again, this is from my very simple kind of simplistic mind, but my general take is like, oh yeah, you could just create a bot and like time it to the resolutions, because I feel like a lot of the times resolutions are pretty like, if it's like one like 50 seconds to the end of it, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be correct, right? If it's 90% and there's like 50 seconds to go, it's probably going to end up that.
Yeah.
So my very simple mind is like, why don't you just create a bot to jump in at those times? But that's probably too simple. And again,
That's
you probably
yeah.
get crushed
It's
by some of the
priced in
competition.
it. At that point, if it's like obvious win, that it's pretty much you're buying like a dollar for a dollar, at that 99 cents for a dollar. And then
Yeah,
if
exactly.
anything unfortunate happens, like somebody just fucking up the price, manipulating it, then you could lose everything. And I
Yeah,
don't think the tailing the end usually works, just because how little you make from each trade, and at the same time, the variance is obviously there. Like if it's very unlikely, but if any events happens, it's catastrophic to your funds. So um, I think that's also why we see most profit traders don't come from those price range. They actually come from like 0.2 to 0.4, like that sort of buy range. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. That does kind of make a lot of sense. I think especially if you're going to put in the time and effort to creating these. Um, I kind of wanted to segue this into some of your AI agent stuff. So,
yeah.
like right off the bat, it's easy to see how you could just take an AI agent, plug into this API, and just
Hmm.
make it completely prediction market oriented, right? Like we have Fax
Hmm.
AI, and we do revolve around prediction markets, and we're a custom LLM, but like it's easy to see how this information could make us so much more powerful.
Hmm.
And on your website, I kind of have two questions. So you mentioned as you were going through the demo that you're in part powered by AI. So I'm wondering if you could go into that a little bit more. But I also
Oh
saw
yeah.
on your website that you have, if you scroll down to the bottom, you say that you can copy and paste this endpoint to get like skills to build your agent.
Correct.
Curious if you wanted to talk about that more, because I'd be interested in like what type of skills you are
Yeah,
involved to.
definitely. Yeah. So two parts, I guess. So we'll talk about the skills and then how we use AI internally in our product. Um, so yeah, for the skill, it's pretty much just we have Predexon has an MCP server, which you can basically plug into any coding agent and it can just code our API super easily. And it comes with it. There's also the skill, which you can pretty much give it to like Cloudbot or give it to any coding agent. Similarly, literally just paste this, and then go to Cloud Code, go to Codex, go to Cursor, send it in, and they will be able to have access to our APIs. It will just ask you for an API key, you give it our API key, and it can use it. So whether you want it to be more sort of analytical, you tell it to fetch me, the top 10 users that have this metrics, which it will know which endpoints to call, and it'll call it correctly because it has the skill that we have, and give you the answer directly. Or you can tell them to like just code a product out with our API. Be like, oh, I want to code this bot that maybe, for example, subscribe to our WebSocket, finds the top traders to copy by whatever metrics and execute the trades. We have trading API and SDK that trades with super sub-seconds low latency, and we basically have the full whole suite for it for you to make something like that with the skills. And in terms of AI used within our product, we mainly use it in market matching. So that is market matching between Kalshi and Polymer currently, but we are adding Opinion super soon. And what we do is pretty much we have a ton of mechanisms for different categories of markets. Some are actually hard codable, some are powered by LLM. We have various prompts, various examples that we feed into the AI, and those are battle tested because we label thousands of data sets manually with some unpaid intern, and we're able to run evaluation and benchmark on them super well, and we achieve pretty good results. Yeah, we have the best market matching in the I believe in the space right now. Yeah.
And the market matching is good for like
Cross-platform arbitrage, in terms of just for many things, for analysis of the same markets on Kalshi and Poly market. If you want to arbitrage markets for farming, there's people farming Poly market and Opinion a lot. I think that would be super helpful. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, this is. I mean, to be honest, it's a really powerful tool. I mean, and I think.
Yeah.
I think that this kind of easy access. So it's basically a markdown file. So is it essentially docs that like Claudebot can read or something like that?
Yeah, it's
and then basically do its work.
Exactly. And we also have MCP if you want to, not use the skill MD and just directly plug in the MCP. That's also another way to do it. But since Claudebot just recently became a trend, we thought, let's make a skill real quick because a lot of people are probably on it.
Yeah, that's very cool. I actually are the first platform that that we've had on the live stream that I've seen this. So it's pretty, I haven't seen this yet in terms of like different.
I mean, our existing customer base is mostly developers and builders, so they're naturally like good, or they're not naturally, but they're just good with code. They're already familiar with all the coding. They know what API is, they know what WebSocket is. But we think the future, just because AI is getting so good, and we are already like vibe coding. So many non-technical people are vibe coding with many things. It will be important to capture them as our ICP as well. So we need to make it as easy as possible for them to build on us. So that's sort of the way we're heading as well. Yeah.
What does your current competition look like? Is there a competition out there? Like what does the lay of the land look like for this type of product?
I wouldn't say there's like significant competition. I think in general, prediction market is still a very early space. Most of people are building some sort of front end, some sort of trading terminal that routes liquidity through to either Poly market, probably mainly Poly market right now, not even Kalshi. In terms of a competition, I think there's a competitor called Dome API. They're backed by YC, and they started probably 4 months earlier than us, and we're doing somewhat similar things, but I'm not exactly sure where they're heading. and what their bets is, but we all sort of claim to be the API infrastructure of prediction market.
Yeah, it's very cool, to be honest, and just to let people know who are watching this, we are currently using this API. I think you guys gave us a free trial, which was very
Yeah,
generous,
yeah,
and we're experimenting with it for both Fax AI and our terminal that we're building. And yeah, so far so good. I mean, it's really simple, it's really easy to use, and I just think it's based on what our conversation today, I just think it's a really powerful tool.
amazing.
um
Thank you so much.
I like, in terms of we touched on this a little bit, but I just kind of want to ask you some general questions about prediction markets.
Hmm.
So like, in terms of like the AI agent for prediction market meta, okay, like, you know how far away do you how what what are people getting right now, and what are people getting wrong, right? Like, what parts of it are overhyped, and what is like an immediate use case for agents right now that you could just dive into and start making money, like the low hanging fruit, and I guess the high hanging fruit that people probably aren't doing.
That's a great question. Um, to be honest, like just my honest thoughts, I'm not an expert in this area. I haven't really used AI to sort of make money myself on prediction market. Um, been really heads down building, but just from my honest thoughts, I think that most AI stuff are probably like overhyped right now. Just because it's just naturally so hypey, so like so like dystopian. Claude bot, it's like, people give it prompt like go make me 10K from this market, and it theoretically it would try its best and pull all the tools together and to try and make you that money, right? But in
Mhm.
reality, it's still a mystery how good they are, and I doubt that they'll be good, just because if it just makes sense. The winners are gonna be a small group of people usually, and if AI is so accessible and is so like available to everybody, and if you can just easily build an AI agent and win in prediction market, then everybody should just do it and win together. But that's just not the case, right? It's the real alpha is always high hanging fruit. I don't think there's any like easy ways to make money, unless there actually are. Then maybe I'm just mistaken.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
my opinion.
I just really don't believe that. I don't believe that you can just like give one prompt to an AI and tell it to make me this money and it'll do it. But I definitely think that there are ways for you to architect it a little better, maybe more detailed, tell it more specific instructions of what to do, maybe follow this strategy that you think is profitable. Then there definitely could be like profit there, especially if you use AI to help you build a strategy. That's I think that's the real magic of AI. If you really know what you're doing, you can accelerate the process of building a bot or building anything profitable from like days, weeks into like hours. And that's the real power of AI, in my opinion, right now. I think the most profitable strategy will still come from human, from insights, maybe from insiders. But AI will really just help you drastically speed that up. And I don't think it's possible to make a lot of money by just telling AI to go make me money. But that's just my take. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on this, and I think
Yeah.
that's true for. I think it's even like prediction markets is a newer area of finance,
Yeah.
but even in like TradFi, I mean, like, I know people in TradFi. I mean, people are still hiring quants. People are still hiring
Yeah.
like trading analysts. I mean, those guys are not being replaced by AI at a speed that
Yeah.
I think most people would assume they would
Yeah.
be replaced. And I
Yeah.
just feel like the human aspect to that sort of to trading, to kind of coming up with like to how do I say this, to kind of like vibe, detecting what the vibe in the market is still a very human process. But you can get AI to definitely help you with that. And again, I think that that's where this platform is super helpful. I think for our LLM, for instance, this would be very helpful. Um,
Definitely. And
just because of the.
another note is just that, just since you talk about prediction markets still like early, I think that there's obviously been more institutional interest in prediction market, like jump trading, just sign deals with Polymarket or Kalshi. I think as institutions come in, there will be less and less edge for retailers. That could be a
Mm.
thing, as we've seen with the stock market. So also something to think about, maybe just looking forward into the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point too. Is like how we actually wrote an article on this. It's like how long until the edge disappears.
Yeah,
And maybe it won't ever fully, obviously, like, the inefficiency will always be there. I mean, that's,
definitely. Yeah.
and if the inefficiency disappears, we have bigger problems, right? Then maybe the agents get so powerful that they make all market inefficiencies disappear. Then we're going to have to restructure the world. But, but I
That'd be
think,
too crazy.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
For the time being, I think they're still here, and maybe new ways to bet on prediction markets will develop. So we'll see. It should be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So on that note, I got one final question for you, and it's, what do you think how should I phrase this? So what do you think the future holds for prediction markets, but specifically for those who are building in prediction markets? It's kind of a broad question. But it could be a platform or a trader. Like, what trend do you see in the next year for people building? Do you think people are going to continue to build front ends for Polymarket and Kalshi, or do you think they're going to start doing something else?
That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. That's something actually we thought about in picking the direction that we're going right now. We've been through the journey where we're building front end, and then now we build infrastructure. I believe prediction market will likely. I mean, at the pace it's going right now, if there's no accidents or anything, it could definitely go mainstream. And as a result, I'll bet is that prediction market will be more fragmented. Right now we have Polymarket, we have Kalshi, we have Opinion. Hyperliquid is launching their own prediction market. DraftKings, Robinhood, everybody seems to want to do prediction markets, and there's space for vertical and horizontal prediction market. You could build a prediction market just for economic indicators. You could prediction market just for housing. There's many things that you can do with it, and it could really see institutional adoption, whether for hedging, risk management, or just simply trading. And as this trend go through, front end is definitely still going to be a thing. It's not going to disappear. But I think that there are definitely too many people doing front end currently. If you just see the Polymarket builders ecosystem, there's a ton of people, and not all of them have traction. In the end, there will be some winners. Most people will not win, just as like any industry. So front end will be a thing because prediction market needs distribution, and if you can make better front ends, then you could bring liquidity to them, and it's still a very valuable ecosystem. But we do think that there will be more space for infrastructure to come in, especially if we see more mainstream adoption. We see more and more people want to build on prediction market, and we see that just the space growing in general, right? As we see with the current landscape of stock exchange, where we have obviously the exchange itself, but then you also have Bloomberg, you have TradingView, you have a suite of tools that are sort of acting the layer in between the exchange and the consumers. And we think that we could see the same case with prediction market, in the sense that we will have the actual Polymarket, the actual Kalshi as the liquidity provider, as the exchanges, and we'll have some end users that want to trade on them, that want to bet on, that want to make money, that want to profit, or that want to hedge risks. But we will also have the layer in between where it's sort of the infra layer, the unification layer, and it's for builders, it's for devs, it's for even end users can maybe interact with it with like AI, it's because it's so like low bar these days. But yeah, I will make analogy to the stock market with prediction market, and that's where our bet is, and that's why we are choosing to build an infra for prediction market currently, even though it's a very early space. We're sort of making this bet. Yeah.
Well, Larry, it was great having you on. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I was just glad to get you on because again, we're using your API, and we're
Yeah.
kind of experimenting with it. So it was clarifying for me to get some more details on this, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the future of the product, and love to have you back on whenever you want to come on. Just let me know.
100%. Super grateful for this opportunity. Super bullish on Polyfactual. You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Love all the new products, and let's win together.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later, Larry.
Talk to you later.